Apple has just announced that they are launching an app called Clips. It's a video editing app. It looks a bit like Snapchat. It looks a bit like Instagram stories. It's got some novel features, and they've pre-announced it. There's a site, apple.com/clips.
Yep.
And we don't usually see Apple announcing software like this. Kristen,
Right.
you had just been doing some research on it. Why don't you walk people through what struck you?
Sure. So you can't actually, you would think that it's going to be some sort of social sharing app similar to an Instagram or a Twitter or a Snapchat or what have you. But what you can do for now is take photos, videos inside of this and then post it to other social platforms. But a move here by Apple to allow users to take photos within the app, also upload photos, upload videos that already exist in your own library, and then you can put filters on them. You can even add live titles, of course, with your own voice. You don't have to type them in.
Yeah, that's
after
the only, and in the press release, I mean, this is so different for Apple to put out a press release about a piece of software like this and build a microsite in advance of the launch. The feature that they're touting in the press release is something called live titles, where you can dictate with your voice and that will do the captions. That's interesting because, you know, Apple is continually looking for reasons to push Siri and to push their voice recognition. So there seems like something like that in there as well. As Kristen pointed out, no social network built into it. Apple has continually failed at social networks like Ping. And at the bottom of that site, Kavitha, if we can just roll to the bottom of that site again, they tout the ability to show to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Snapchat noticeably not mentioned here, but you could save to your camera roll and upload to Snapchat. Snapchat has no API for uploading video clips.
Right, and this will be an app separate from the camera roll. So oftentimes, obviously, if you have an Apple phone and you are an Apple user, you can take videos or pictures within the same camera app, but this is going to be an entirely separate app called the Clips, as we said. And what's interesting here is the services part of Apple's business has long been, for the past year or so, even longer than a year, an area where the company is really focused on. And to me, what this sounds like is a way to make people buy probably more iCloud storage if they want to, of course, down the road. Like John said, too, many wins here. Of course, you could integrate it into Siri, just add more data, of course, to build upon that platform, as Siri has fallen behind here in some of these virtual assistant races to specifically a Google Home or an Amazon Alexa. But building out this service ecosystem, which again, for at least the past year and a half, Apple has really, really focused on.
I think it's a very good point. And actually, I want to cite Christopher Mims from the Journal, a frequent contributor on the show. He tweets, the Twitterati are already hating on this. I'll bet you teens love it, and becomes another reason that they beg their parents for iPhones. Apple really never releases anything fun or social like this. They release a Pages app, a new way to do Keynote, very sort of tactical utility type services. Rare for them to release something so fun and levity oriented. Yeah. But to your point, it is weird that they are not building into it their own built-in Clips social network. I guess they feel like they failed at that so many times, they just want to win with this piece of software.
Or maybe they just decided that they wanted to announce each portion step by step and see sort of maybe what the reception is to this before they integrate some sort of social component within it. Of course, though, millions of people, I mean, I think actually 1 billion people own an iPhone in the entire world. And so if you compare that, of course, to some of the other services out there, that would be a ton of users who could use this. Of course, nearly 2 billion people on Facebook's platform.
Well, we're going to go deep on this story. And of all the business networks, I'm just looking, we're the only ones right now that are leading with this as breaking news this morning. I think it's a big deal. I think we should follow what Snapchat does. I think we should follow this story aggressively throughout the day and through the launch. Apple, one of the most valuable companies in the world, the most valuable technology company, a technology company which has never dipped their toe in this, and then now seeing the success of Instagram stories, which really seems to be biting into Snapchat, WhatsApp stories, which is, you know, whatever.
Messenger Day.
Messenger story, Messenger Day. But let's pull up a Snapchat chart and let's just look at Snapchat, and then let's be very attuned to how Snapchat opens this morning on this news. But let's just look at what Snapchat's done. So you can see there, that's since the IPO, the stock is, you know, basically down to the price that it priced at, almost $19. We'll see what it does this morning. In pre-market, it's up 1%.
Yep. That is the pre-market number there that we were showing. And Apple, for its sake, is up about 0.5 percentage point pre-market here, too. What I will say about Apple and even Facebook here versus Snap. Of course, what was the main thing that Snap said when it went public? It was calling itself a camera company. And since then, just yesterday, over the weekend, we heard that Facebook is now going to be developing its own camera-like device, maybe its own camera hardware perhaps, and then also moving forward into the software space. Apple, I think a big move by Apple on this is because it wants to keep the prestige of the camera baked into the iPhone, and then pairing the two now together.
And we had Gene Munster on talking about Apple and augmented reality. Then Mark Gurman of Bloomberg has a report out this morning saying Apple's going to invest heavily in augmented reality. Augmented reality, when you use your camera and you layer graphics and images and
filters,
emojis
overlays,
and filters over the real world.
Yeah.
This seems to me like getting ready. I mean, when you look at that app and you look at the example, Kavitha, pull up the B-roll again, you can see it's like selfie stuff, people pointing the cameras at their face. I think it's like a kid on a skateboard. You can imagine that lending itself, go back down, you can imagine that stuff, skateboard, lending itself to augmented reality type stuff. And again, this is Apple doing exactly what GoPro has failed to do today. GoPro is hardware with terrible software. Apple has always been obviously strong in software, weak in cloud. Kristen, to your point about iCloud, it'll be interesting to see how much easier they make this to share with the iCloud functionality.
Right, and to store as well, too. I mean, I was looking at some documents of mine last night, just trying to clean things up, and I feel like I now need to up my iCloud storage just on my MacBook alone because everything keeps piling up. We
got Edie an iPod Touch because Melissa from our team is like, she likes Melissa's food photography. So now my 7-year-old, she's into food photography. So we regulate her usage aggressively, but Edie says to me yesterday, she goes, Daddy, I need more iCloud storage. Daddy, how do I get more iCloud storage? It's like, you know, my favorite thing is like nobody knows what iCloud is except the fact that you're running out of storage.
That you need more storage. You need more storage. Continually get those pop-up messages.
Okay, look, so we beat this story into the ground a little bit at my urging. I do want to cover it a lot throughout the day. Let's move onward.